Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, that means sit down now. Oh, good morning and welcome to Unity of Palmyra, where centered in love and surrounded by snow, we embrace a positive path for spiritual living. We are an open and affirming community. We love you exactly as you are in all of your magnificent glory. And I'm so grateful for those of you who could shovel out and get here this morning. And for those of you who are still comfy and warm at home, welcome. I'm very, very happy that you're here. I am also bringing greetings from Unity of Gaithersburg. I got to spend yesterday with their board doing a board training, and they all said, hi. So, hi from Unity of Gaithersburg, Maryland. All right, let's take a nice big deep breath. And bless you. And we're going to let go of whatever it took to get here this morning with gratitude for those who shoveled, Steve and Dave, and for those who helped us get cars out of parking spaces. We're going to say thank you for this warm and bright and love-filled sanctuary, and for the sweetness of our little Luna in the room. And we are going to allow ourselves that absolute best gift ever of being fully present right here, right now. In this moment, you have nothing to do except to be open and embraced and inspired and loved. There's nothing else more important in this moment in the whole wide world than being here now. And as always, we enter into this experience with such gratitude. So we say thank you. Thank you for this time to come apart for a while, to remember the truth of who we are, to remember that we are spiritual beings having a very interesting human experience. We also say thank you for whatever safe space you're in this morning, whether you're here with us or you're at home in your jammies and your hot coffee and your hot cocoa. We're so glad that you're here. And finally, we say thank you for this beloved community. So dedicated to making a difference in the world, to being the change we wish to see in the world. And so it is. Luna agrees. Amen.
Amen.
All right, please stand. Together, may the light we now kindle inspire us to use our powers to heal and not to hurt, to help and not to hinder, to bless and not to curse, to serve you, divine Spirit. And so we have a new opening song today that I found on a colleague's page called Spirit is in This Place. So take it away, Miss Janie.
It's actually a pretty easy one. There's a lot of repeated melodies. So. We have come together as a family. We have come here as we are. We have come with arms wide open. We have gathered here in love. shout of praise, Spirit's in this place.
All right, we'll put that on the rotation. Let's share together in our vision. Centered in love, we embrace a positive path for spiritual living. And our mission, wherever we are, we provide a welcoming community that inspires and encourages all who gather here through the teaching, sharing, and practice of universal spiritual principles. And y'all know the drill. One of the ways we practice is we respect wherever you are on your hugging journey. So if you want to hug and share some warmth this morning, we'll bring it on in. If you're more comfortable with the handshake, we will honor that. And if you want us to leave you completely alone, we totally understand. And we will respect whatever bubble you create about yourself. Have fun.
I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. I'm in the right place at the right time. I
Thank you, Jody. All right, we have some announcements. Our prayer chaplains today are Helen Baker and Charles Lee, and Helen is holding space for us from home, and hi, Helen. And Charles is holding space for us here, and he is also sharing joys and concerns today. And Holly, look for the stoles, Reverend Stephanie, and Holly is holding space for us in the room today. Gwen is going to be teaching 2 classes this winter, both based on books. The first one is based on Hell in the Hallway. That starts at Started on the 13th. And then she's also teaching a class based on Ellen Davenport's book, The 5 Principles. Very important book. I mean, these are our foundational beliefs and principles. So it's particularly if you're relatively new to Unity, please do take that class. And if you just need a review, please do take that class. And that starts on February 15th. Also in February, we have a Source of Light Gallery reading with Doug McDonald. That is on February 7th. And then Bingo is back on February 28th. I just want to say before Tammy does her thing, that is my mother's birthday, so I'm going to try to get her here for bingo and lunch for her birthday. So if I can get her here, can we all sing happy birthday to her? Okay. All right. Miss Tammy.
Good morning. I just want to let everybody know we have tickets, we have flyers, and we have letters. And the letters are for when you go out into the community to a business, they may want to see that we're a 501(c), so they will request or ask for that letter. So if you would like any of those, come see me downstairs during fellowship.
And the letters are if you want to donate a prize to bingo, to get the business to donate a prize for bingo. Yeah. Yes. Awesome. And we can also donate stuff too, right?
Yes.
Oh.
Absolutely. I just wanted to try and get the community more involved than just us, because I know sometimes it's overwhelming for people, especially people who are on a fixed income and would love to do everything we do, but can't. So how those people can help is get a letter, take that letter, and go to a business and see if you can get that business to donate something. And that is your part in donating.
And then come to bingo.
And then make sure you get a ticket. We have 60 tickets. When they're all, and believe me, we are advertising the heck out of this. So if you really want to come, I suggest you get your ticket.
Thank you. It's going to be fun. And Kathy did a wonderful job on the flyers. They're really, really cute. Okay. 2 things happening yet this month. Next Sunday is our January Hug meeting. Please do come to that. We have so many updates to give you that we just do not have time to do in the Sunday service. So please, she says, please come to the Hug meeting next Sunday immediately following the service. And then that Saturday, January 31st, please, I hope you all have that on your calendar. That is our Creating Our Shared Vision. We're going to be revisiting our vision, mission, and values, and we need all of you to be there, because if we don't have you, we don't have the input necessary to create the vision, mission, and values. This is a community-generated process, and we will feed you, because if you feed them, they will come. So please do that. And you really don't need to sign up for that. You just need to show up for that. All right, we'll just make sure we have plenty of food for everybody. So, okay, so those are all those agreements. Now I have 2 fun things. I was having a conversation with Tammy a couple weeks ago, and we were sharing our white stone words. And I said, oh, it'd be so cool if we could all share like the words that we got. And so the more we talked, the more creative we got, and we came up with the idea to have a poster where you all write not your names, but just the word that you got during the white stone ceremony, so that we can all just meditate on those words and those qualities that we're going to be calling forth this year. So that poster is in the Rose Room, on the table, there are Sharpies out there for you to write your word on a stone. You'll see it's a whole poster full of stones. And then some of you had mentioned that you couldn't be there for White Stone Sunday, and did we have any extra stones? And yes, we always have extra stones. So there's also some extra stones in the Rose Room if you weren't here and you didn't get a stone to write your word on. So that's one fun thing we're going to do. The other one is everybody coming in should have gotten a 4 agreements card. Did everybody get a 4 agreements card? Okay, so Diana is going to be walking through the room. Now, here's the thing. You have to close your eyes and do this so that Spirit chooses your card. Okay? She's digging deep. That's good. We like to dig deep. Okay, so as they're getting their cards, again, this idea grew out of a conversation, and this one grew out of a conversation with Jeff, I think Charles, and back here. And I said, I'd really love if we could take truly a deep dive into the 4 agreements this time. I don't just want to reference the book. I don't just want to do a review of what we've done before. I want us to really take these agreements into ourselves. And the only way we can really do that is if we have a chance to discuss it and talk about it and process and get feedback. And so the idea that evolved out of that conversation, I know you're going to tell me to stop talking to council members, right? The thing that came out of that conversation was I've created a Zoom meeting for every Thursday evening during this series for you just to jump on and share what you're seeing about the card that Spirit gifted you with, right? And the agreement that you were gifted with. And to make it even juicier, what I'm going to do after we have like a little check-in is I'm going to divide you into 4 groups, 4 breakout rooms. So the people that get the first agreement are going to be in a breakout room with everybody that got the first agreement, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th agreements. So you can really take a deep dive with everybody who shares your agreement for the next 4 weeks and talk about how you're practicing it. Talk about what you're noticing. Talk about how you might be waking up to some new insight to help you practice. Okay? This is not required. There is no charge. It is just a Zoom meeting for you to jump onto if you want to do a deeper dive. And the link, the flyer and the link was already in last week's email blast, and it'll be in the email blast every week for the series. Does that sound like something that's interesting? Cool. And we'll talk more about it at the Hug meeting next week. So if you are not here today, we are going to leave the basket in the Rose Room. If you're local and you have a chance to drop in during the week before Thursday and grab your card, awesome. If it's a challenge for you to get here, let Kathy or I know. We will draw a card for you. We will take a picture of it, and we will text or email it to you. Okay? So that by Thursday, everyone will have the card that Spirit chose for them. Does that sound good? All right. Awesome. And finally, Kindness Closet, Church of the Brethren, is open again on Saturday, January 24th from 10 to 1. If you are interested in volunteering, please talk to Linda Raber after the service today. Did I get everything? And more than everything. All right. Would you please read the daily words?
Good morning. Our words for today are world peace. As I affirm peace, I help create a peaceful world. In 1964, Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said, "It is not enough to say we must not wage war. It is necessary to love peace and sacrifice for it. We must concentrate not merely on the negative expulsion of war, but the positive affirmation of peace. Of course, I will work toward creating the kind of world I wish to see, investing my effort and energy to ending conflict, discrimination, and other kinds of negativity. but I also put my energy into creating harmony, cooperation, opportunity, and other positive outcomes. Today, I affirm that peace is dawning all over the world, blessing all people with warm feelings of cooperation and togetherness. I affirm peace is here, even as I strive to create it. From 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 23, may the God of peace himself sanctify you entirely, and may your spirit and soul and body be kept sound.
I am home, my family is here. I feel loved by the ones I hold so dear. And when my family needs me, I promise to be there. And when I need my family, I'm lifted up in prayer.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I have a little something for concerns and joys today. And I just ask that you listen to the words and listen to them with your heart. This is based on when Jesus said, "The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, for I have been separated to preach the gospel to the poor." I kind of use different words, so let's take a deep breath.
Charles, hold the microphone just a little bit closer. There you go.
Thank you. Is that better?
Yes.
The divine word is directing us, blowing in the sail of our being. We are anointed, we are consecrated, dedicated to the divine purpose, to declare the good news that spirit is larger than our fears. We've been set apart to heal, cure, mend, take away the sickness, treat the afflictions of those who are broken, those who suffer heartaches, to proclaim, declare freedom, amnesty to those who feel trapped by their circumstances, the return of clarity to those who are blinded by the cloak of fear, to offer freedom from the pain of those who feel crushed. The originator has declared this to be our time. Rise, children, rise and be extraordinary. And it is so. Amen.
The God in me beholds the God in you. Namaste. The God in me beholds the God in you. Namaste. You are beautiful. You are whole. You are beautiful. You are whole. There is a secret I should keep from someone else who wants to know. What will I choose to do? Will whispered words so small and thin turn into feathers in the wind? It may or may not be true. Will broken promises to friends leave me lonely in the end? Or am I loved and trusted well because of stories I don't tell? Laugh or cry, quit or try, in this life I'm going through every day. Another fork in the road that will take me somewhere new. And every step makes me the person I will be. I have dreams in my heart and I try to hear their voices when I make my choices. There is a child who needs my time to read a story, sing a rhyme. What will I choose to do? And every day I run around, I hardly have the chance to just sit down. But what is he going through? Will the boy become a man who will wonder if I understand who he is and what he needs? So much of this is up to me. Laugh or cry, quit or try, in this life I'm going through every day. Another fork in the road that will take me somewhere new. And every step makes me the person I will be. I have dreams in my heart and I try to hear their voices when I make my choices. Everywhere I choose to go touches someone I don't even know, just like waves in the sand that finally touch the shore. And every chance I choose to take is another way my heart could break. But I can't stand still anymore. Laugh or cry, quit or try, in this life I'm going through every day. Another fork in the road that'll take me somewhere new. And every step makes me the person I will be. I have dreams in my heart and I try to hear their voices when I make my choices. I have dreams in my heart and I try to hear their voices when I make my choices.
So welcome to the Four Agreements. I realized it's actually been several years since we have explored this incredible work by Don Miguel Ruiz. So I just want to do a quick recap of the foundation of this work. And so here's his basic premise, that when we were young, we were taught certain things that we really had no control over, like what language did our family use, what ethnicity were we born into, what religion did our family practice. Right? We learned by listening and observing what behaviors were deemed good and what were deemed bad. And as we learned those things, we were also learning what we would be rewarded for and what we would be punished for. And as we processed all of it, we made agreements with others and within ourselves of how we would behave. Now, obviously, as young children, this was all happening very unconsciously. We learned the rules of the world that we lived in, and we also learned what would earn us love and what wouldn't. So if we were beautiful and smart, we would be loved. If not, we wouldn't. If we didn't cry or show our emotions, we would be loved and accepted as long as we kept everybody else happy. If we were a star athlete or got a 1400, is that still a thing in SAT world? I don't know what the big score is now in SAT world, but yeah, in my life it was 1400. I got 1285, just in case you're curious. Just thought I'd throw that in there, right? Then we would be loved. If we fit the mold, we would be loved. So according to Don Miguel, he said, whenever we hear an opinion and believe it, we make an agreement, and it becomes part of our belief system. He also refers to this as it creates the dream, the illusion that we then live in. He said, somewhere, someone told us through their word that we were not enough, and we agreed to it. So we end up judging ourselves, and we end up judging others in our search for perfection and acceptance. So the agreement and the power of our agreements is so strong that even if we understand intellectually in our heads that it's not true, that doesn't get into our hearts. And we still feel the blame and the guilt and the shame that happens if we go against the rules that we were raised by. It's interesting, in a book called The Diamond Cutter by Geshe Michael Roach, he talks about the fact that in Tibet, they do not have a word for guilt. Isn't that lovely? He says, there's no word in Tibetan for guilty. The closest thing is intelligent regret that decides to do things differently. Intelligent regret that decides to do things differently. He also describes blame, shame, criticism, complaining, etc. as useless talk. He said it depletes us of energy and wires our brains in ways that we do not want to be wired. And then there was a study done in the Cleveland Clinic that says each of us has an average of 60,000 thoughts a day. We're very busy up there in our brains. That's one thought per second in every waking hour. I have thoughts in sleeping hours. Anybody else have thoughts in sleeping hours that wake us up? Now, here's what's important about this. 95% of those thoughts, bless you, are repeated every day. So in other words, not a whole lot of new thoughts going on. And on average, 80% of those habitual thoughts are negative. They're self-critical. They're judging. They're negative. Now, I do want to say, in defense of the negative thoughts, that they're a reflection of our evolutionarily important negativity bias, which means that our brain is constantly searching for what could cause us harm. That is not a bad thing. However, when that overwhelms all the other thoughts in our brain, and we begin to focus on all the things that could cause us harm, while neglecting all that's amazing and true and beautiful in the world, that's when we get into trouble. So he says, how do we find freedom from all of this? How do we create a new dream? In other words, a new energy that we are now willing to swim in our lives and in our world. Without knocking the candle over, here's what Don Miguel says. Your whole mind is a fog with the Toltecs called a mitote. Your mind is a dream where 1,000 people talk at the same time and nobody understands each other. This is the condition of the human mind, a big mitote. And with that big mitote, you cannot see who you really are. In India, they call the mitote Maya, which means illusion. It is the personality's notion of, I am. Everything you believe about yourself in the world, all the concepts and programming you have in your mind are all the mitote. We cannot see who we truly are. We cannot see that we are not free. So in order to wake up and to create a new dream and ultimately a new reality, a new way of seeing and being in the world, we have to create new agreements, which will in turn replace the conversation that's going on in our heads. So here are the instructions for that. If we can see that it is our agreements which rule our life, and we don't like the dream of our life, we need to change the agreements. When we are finally ready to change our agreements, there are 4 very powerful agreements that will help us break those old agreements that come from fear and deplete our energy. Each time you break an agreement, an old agreement, all the power you used to create it returns to you. If you adopt these 4 new agreements, they will create enough personal power for you to change the entire system of your old agreements. You need a very strong will in order to adopt the 4 agreements. I think we have the strong will part covered, don't you? Okay. But if you can begin to live your life with these agreements, the transformation in your life will be amazing. You will see the drama of hell disappear right before your very eyes. Instead of living in a dream of hell, you will be creating a new dream, your personal dream of heaven. So that is the foundation for the 4 agreements. So here's what they are. Be impeccable with your word. Don't take anything personally. Don't make assumptions, and always do your best. So we're going to start with the first one, and he says that we start with this one because this is the foundation of all the other agreements. If we cannot be impeccable with our word, we don't have that baseline that we need in order to practice the other 4 agreements. So Paula Gunn Allen says, tribal people say that words are sacred. We don't mean that you're supposed to kneel down and worship them. We mean that you should, in your being, recognize that when you speak, your utterance has consequences, inwardly and outwardly, and that you are accountable for those consequences. So one of the 8-fold paths of Buddhism is right speech. And there was a great piece on this on the Insight Meditation Center website. And this is what they say. The Buddha divides right speech into 4 components. Abstaining from false speech, which is, so we speak the truth. Abstaining from slanderous speech, avoiding malicious talk. Abstaining from harsh speech, including abusive speech, insults, and sarcasm. Everybody hear that part? Okay. And abstaining from idle chatter, which is pointless talk or speech that lacks purpose or depth. So I loved the one line in the song that Janie just sang in the very first verse. They were talking about that our words become like feathers in the wind. And that's actually a metaphor that's very frequently used around the danger of gossip. That once those words are released, they become like feathers in the wind. We can't get them back. We can't fix the effect that they might have on ourselves and on others.
So I love that they use that metaphor in that talk. So back to the website. Because the effects of speech are not as immediately evident as those of bodily action, its importance and potential is easily overlooked. But a little reflection will show that speech and its offshoot, the written word, can have enormous consequences for good or for harm. In fact, whereas for beings such as animals who live at the pre-verbal level, physical action is of dominant concern, for humans immersed in verbal communication, speech gains the ascendancy. Speech can break lives, create enemies, and start wars. Aren't we being presented with that right now? Or it can give wisdom, heal divisions, and create peace. This has always been so, yet in the modern age, the positive and negative potentials of speech have been vastly multiplied by the tremendous increase in the means, speed, and range of communications. I would also say with the tremendous increase in the use of AI. The capacity for verbal expression, oral and written, has often been regarded as the distinguishing mark of the human species. From this, we can appreciate the need to make this capacity the means to human excellence rather than, as too often has been the case, the sign of human degradation. So the importance of our words and the power of our words. So let's go back to impeccable, to be impeccable with our words. So being impeccable means to be without sin. So we know that a sin, and this is also Don Miguel's definition, a sin is anything that you do which goes against yourself. So when you are impeccable, you take responsibility for your actions, but you do not judge or blame yourself. In the words of Don Miguel, speak with integrity, say only what you mean, avoid using the word to speak against yourself or to gossip about others. So what do you think he means by avoid using the word to speak against yourself? What does that look like? Oh, I'm so stupid. Exactly. Right? Words have power. So he says, being impeccable with your word, this is a lot more than just be honest, right? It's more like be thoughtful about your speech. Use your speech to build love and community rather than to tear it down. Do not gossip and do not speak negatively about yourself. So another practice that I found is very helpful, and this is for those of you who have not heard this before, this is why sometimes when someone says something in a meeting, I'll look at them and ask if that was necessary. Here's where that comes from. The 3 gates, the Sufi teaching. Before we speak, we pass through 3 gates. The first gate asks the question, is what I'm about to say true? And when I say true, I don't mean I have a really strongly held opinion. I mean, is it true? And if it is, we get to go to the next gate. Is what I'm about to say necessary? Sai Baba added a 4th gate, and his was, will what I'm about to say improve upon the silence? That's another way of saying, is it necessary? I will just share that is it necessary is usually where I end up stopping. But the third question is, if we've established it's true and it's necessary, is it kind? Can I come up with the kindest way possible to say this? Now, I'm not talking about being nice. When we're kind, we speak the truth in love, but we find a way to say it so that hopefully it can be received. Because no matter how true or how necessary it may be, if we can't find a way to say it so that it can be received, it's not going to sink in. No matter how true or necessary it is, it's not going to get in there. Now, obviously, if the answer to any of those questions is no, we don't say it. We zip it, as my grandmother used to do. She would do the zip it thing. And that usually preceded Quaker meeting has begun. Anybody else have a grandmother that did Quaker meeting has begun? No more talking, no more fun. Quaker meeting has begun. It was when the kids were getting on our nerves and we all had to be quiet. So, being impeccable with our word begins with how we talk to ourselves. We have a lot of negative self-talk, guys, that goes on all day long. The problem with that is that anything we use against ourselves, anything negative that we internalize about ourselves, unless we are willing to heal that, we are bound to project that. And so anything painful or unhealed within ourselves, we're going to put out there. And we're going to say things that aren't true, that aren't necessary, and that aren't kind. So we want to really observe where we're judging ourselves so that we can stop projecting that judgment onto others. And we're going to make mistakes. We're going to say things that we wish we hadn't. And then we need to take responsibility for that. And we need to make amends. But we need to do that from a position of learning and growing, and not from beating ourselves up endlessly because we're less than perfect human beings. Not helpful. I said this. I'm sorry I said this. I learned. I grew. I'm moving on. Right? That's how we can use our energy, and I love how Don Miguel says this, in the direction of truth and love for ourselves and others. So the word is not just a sound or a written symbol. The word is a force. It is energy. It is power. We get to decide how we're going to use that power. So we can use it to tear down. We can use it to create upset or division. Or we can use it to build up and to empower and to encourage. So he talks a lot in this section about gossip. And I think it's important, so I want to read a piece. Looking at everyday human interactions, imagine how many times we cast spells, I love his metaphors, on each other with our word. Over time, this interaction has become the worst form of black magic. We call it gossip. We learned how to gossip by agreement. When we were children, we heard the adults around us gossip, openly giving their opinions about other people. We learned this as the normal way to communicate. Gossip can be compared to a virus in a computer. A computer virus is a piece of computer language written in the same language as all the others, but with a harmful intent. The code is inserted into the program of your computer when you least expect it, and most of the time without your awareness. Anybody who's ever been hacked can speak to the truth of that. After this code has been introduced, your computer doesn't work quite right, or it doesn't function at all. Human gossip works the same way. Often we hear someone say something, they're mad at a person, or that person has triggered them. We have someone say to us, well, this teacher isn't good, or this person isn't good. We are immediately imprinted with that word and the emotional code the person had when saying this. What we are not aware of is his or her motivation in telling us. They could have failed a class with them, or that person might have reminded them of an angry parent, or who knows what. They may have just made an assumption because of what someone else told them, or one just based in fear and judgment. And yet what happens is that we believe it, and then we see them through that lens. So Don Miguel states, unequivocally, that this first agreement is the most important and it's the foundation for all the rest. And I think over the last several years, we have seen how true that is. Because when truth is lost, then integrity is lost, and credibility is lost, and trust is lost. And when truth becomes the exception, we all suffer, because there is no freedom without truth. So, we see so many places in our world right now where that has become very apparent. But here's just a little one that has impacted me personally, and I'm finding it on crochet sites. I know it seems like a little thing, but trust me, it's a big thing for those of us that crochet. More and more phony crochet sites are popping up, and they put up these gorgeous, intricate, beautiful quilts. And if you look at that, if you're an experienced quilter, you know instantly it's fake. You can tell from looking at it. There's no way those corners match, right? There's no way that this was done with traditional quilting or any other kind of quilting. And yet what they're doing is they're trying to get you to click on a fake pattern so that you go down that rabbit hole and they have your information. They are not being impeccable with their word. Now, I know that seems like a little thing, like, Steph, get a grip, it's just a quilt. However, it's an example of how easy it is to put what is fake out there, and why more than ever, and I know it's exhausting, but more than ever, we have to be so discerning about what is real and true and what isn't. So remember when our kids were growing up, we used to say to them, tell the truth because it's the easiest thing to remember. Remember that old thing, what a tangled web we weave when we first practice to deceive. Here's the thing about deceiving. It takes so much energy to remember what you've said, right? It takes so much energy to remember what you said to this group of people, which was entirely different from what you said to this group of people, which was entirely different from what you said to this group of people. It takes so much energy. When you tell the truth, you only have one thing to remember, and that's the truth. So when we practice being impeccable with our word, we free up energy. We create freedom. We don't have to remember all that stuff that we lied about or that we made up. We don't have to remember all that gossip that we spread. In peacemaking, when we would get into a community and we would realize that there had been a small group that had worked to create dissent within a community, we used to call it poisoning the well. And the reason we deliberately used that metaphor was because it only took a drop of poison to poison the entire well. And so when Don Miguel says to be impeccable with our words, he is asking us to keep our wells clean, to put practices and policies and procedures into place that encourage us to go direct with our concerns, to ask ourselves, is this true? Is this necessary? Is this kind? Before we speak. To do our own inner work so we don't project our judgments and our lack of self-worth onto others. So I know in recovery the first step is to admit that we have a problem, to tell the truth, not in judgment, but in order to take the necessary steps for healing. And I think that's very true for this agreement. To be willing to tell the truth about ourselves, about our community, about our country, right? Emma Lazarus once observed, until we are all free, we are none of us free. So I'm going to give Don Miguel the last word. Just imagine what you can create with impeccability of the word. With the impeccability of the word, you can transcend the dream of fear and live a different life. You can attain the kingdom of heaven from this one agreement. Be impeccable with your word. Let's take that into meditation.
Make me an instrument, Lord of thy peace, as I let go, as I release. Make me an instrument, humble and free, as I awaken the living Christ in me. As I awaken the living Christ in me. Make me an instrument, Lord of thy peace, as I let go. Love I receive. Make me an instrument, humble and free, as I awaken the living Christ in me. As I awaken the living Christ in me.
And so we breathe together. We breathe in those sweet and powerful words. Those words that affirm that we do have the capacity to be an instrument of peace, to speak words of truth, to speak words of peace. And so the practice of this agreement has many, many layers. We begin by going within, gently, and with great compassion, and noticing where we are not impeccable with the words that we use towards ourselves. We notice where we default to being self-critical and to feeling shame or guilt, to rehashing past mistakes over and over again. And so we begin by allowing ourselves to heal and to speak words of love and acceptance and encouragement to ourselves. So that we can return to that state of innocence where all was right with our world. And then as we are doing that work, we notice the impact that that inner work has on our outer words. we notice ourselves becoming more gentle. We notice ourselves becoming more curious and less quick to jump to judgment. We notice ourselves choosing to think the best of ourselves and one another instead of the worst. And then we deepen this practice even further by noticing what doesn't need to be said. And in noticing that, we free up the courage and the energy to say that which does need to be said. And together we live and we grow and we develop the important and powerful skill of speaking the truth in love. So that we truly can become instruments of peace.
Make me an instrument, Lord, of thy peace, as we give love, love we receive. Make me an instrument, humble and free, as I awaken the living Christ in me, as I awaken the living Christ in me.
It brings back such memories. We used to sing that in seminary. So this is the time of our service where we share our gratitude for your consistent and generous giving to this community. I also wanted to mention, many of you jumped on my post about, shared by my friend Reverend Pat Williamson from Unity of Minneapolis. They're pretty much on the front lines right now. And so they're going to be having a prayer service over Zoom or Facebook Live, I can't remember. It's in Pat's information. Tomorrow at noon, as it's Martin Luther King Jr. Day, they thought that would be perfect. They're also collecting supplies for people within their community and the greater community for people that are afraid to leave their homes. These are food, toiletries, household supplies. So some of you asked if we could donate to them. Please feel free, go on to Unity of Minneapolis's website if you want to make a financial donation. I might be asking Pat to put together a wish list for stuff we can send straight to their church in order to pass out. And we do have our January council meeting today, so the council can also discuss whether we want to switch up some of our giving for the month of February and send them some money. But they are being the beloved community in action, supporting their members and those who are connected to their members and the city that surrounds them. So, thank you.
about what you say every single time, knowing in your mind the power of the words won't go away. Negativity comes your way if you don't think about what you say every single time, knowing in your mind the power of the words won't go away. Positivity comes your way if you say love, say strength, speak good words in abundance, say health and happiness. You better mean what you say, so say hope, say peace, forgiveness, overstanding, your strength and loyalty. They're gonna show you the way if you don't think about what you say every single time, knowing in your mind the power of the words won't go away. Positivity comes your way if you don't think about what you say every single time, knowing in your mind the power of the words won't go away. Positivity comes your way. Now, I know you and you know me. Keep it real, take it easy. Know what you're trying to prove, who you're trying to trick. 'Cause friendship and compassion, they can last forever. But I still need you to know, if you don't think about what you say every single time, knowing in your mind the power in the words won't go away. Negativity comes your way if you don't think about what you say every single time, knowing in your mind the power of the words won't go away. Negativity comes your way. Say love, say strength, speak good words in abundance, say health and happiness. You better mean what you say, so say hope, say peace, forgiveness, overstanding, your strength and loyalty. They're gonna show you the way if you don't think about what you say every single time, knowing in your mind the power in the words won't go away. Negativity comes your way if you don't think about what you say every single time, knowing in your mind the power of the words won't go away. Positivity comes your way if you don't think, if you don't think, if you don't think, if you don't think.
So between the reggae and the piano, I love that. That was awesome. Please stand as we share in our unity blessing, and make sure that we turn and we share with everyone who couldn't make it in this morning. Together, we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the Christ in each and every one of you. Together, we extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
I
Stand for love, I stand for peace, I stand for joy and for release, for what is beautiful and true. I stand for hope, I stand for you. You know our world is in great pain. She needs our loving care again. Yet there are those who fail to see what
we have done and what we need. There is a cause for every act, and now there is no turning back. We burn a bridge, we bang a drum. It's time to rise, the time has come.
If you're thinking it's not urgent, that we've got more time to kill, if I'm not the one who changed things, well, for heaven's sakes, who will? So I will move and I will climb that mountain one step at a time. I won't be swayed, I will not stop until we've made it to the top, where we will stand for love and peace, we'll stand for joy and for release, for what is beautiful and true. We'll stand for hope, we'll stand for you, for what is beautiful and true. I stand for hope, I stand for you. As the light of God we shine, as the love of God we embrace, as the power of God
We stand in truth.
as the presence of God
We radiate love.
love.
Wherever
We are the divine in expression, and all is well with our souls.
Remarkable with your speech and be instruments of peace. Please, please be instruments of peace. Amen. Come on down for coffee and cookies, and bye-bye our YouTube and Facebook friends. We love you so much. Everybody stay warm and dry today. Have a great
Bye.
week. Bye.